Hold it inside. Here. So, hey, we haven't been back in a minute, but Love Sis did a video, had L'Oreal and me on it. So, we're going to drop this video for Love Sis. You need to go follow her on IG at it's.lovesis. And check her out. Listen to her podcast. That's at, you can find her podcast on itslovesis.com. Itslovesis.com. You want to add something? I love you. Not really. Oh, she love y'all now. All right. So check it out right now. Bam. Bam. What you doing?
So on the podcast, we talked about dating as a millennial woman and then ways that we can lives, not even speaking on the men in our generation, but ways that we can help benefit our relationships instead. So I asked my mother and my aunt to get online with me just to talk about from their perspective. What generation would you guys be?
We're not millennials. We don't.
Hell if I know. I was born in the 70s, 74.
I was born in the 70s too, 73.
Is that a boomer? No. The boomers was after the
war. Yeah. We just here. That's what we are.
Okay.
We the bomb nation. That's what we are.
The bomb generation?
The bomb nation.
So I decided to have them come on live with me to kind of just further discuss what we had already talked about in the podcast. So Auntie Lori has said she didn't get a chance to listen to it, so I'm just gonna catch you up. Basically, we talked about how we as women, like, what are our biggest fears when deciding to date again, after, either being hurt or in a relationship or whatever, to say it ended great and you just, have personal fears of relationships. But so we talked about that. We talked about, ignoring red flags and requirements that you have specifically when someone is showing their interest in you. And then we talked about guys in our generation being lazy. So I'm assuming that doesn't change throughout the generations, right?
I would agree.
And then, so today I had some questions, like, just to kind of go further into detail about those topics. And then I wanted to get you guys' opinions on these two videos that I've been seeing circulate this week. So, I guess first, you guys can introduce yourself. I guess, you guys have so much personality.
I'm L'Oreal.
I'm Leslie. All right, so yeah, we are. What's our YouTube?
Girl, I don't even remember. Is the mic on?
It's the mic on. We the original OGs from L to J. We sang, we do our thing. Anyway, so what are you laughing at? You said you wanted to see some personality. That's what we're trying to do.
Do your thing.
All right. So I'm Jordan's mom.
I'm her auntie.
My best friend, my BFF.
Yep.
And they're awesome.
AF. I'm just saying she can rap her butt off.
Thank you, girl.
Anyway.
So you guys can follow them on Instagram. I think her Auntie Lori's page is connected to here now, so you can go on there. And then my mom's is LESMO_.
Nope. LES10. Les Moten.
Got it.
That was so
pure romance.
So after this, you guys can follow them. So I just kind of want to go, I guess we can go straight into it. What do you guys see? Do you guys see any differences between dating now and dating, in your 20s? And then do you feel like social media is playing a big part in that difference?
Well, I guess I'll go first if you don't mind. Dating now versus when I was in my 20s. Well, I'm struggling. I have been married for almost 20 years. And so, kind of being back out here on the market or in the game or whatever you want to call it, I am finding that I have no tolerance, but likely because of the experiences that I've had in relationship, but also because I'm more mature in mind, body, attitude, everything. So when I think back to when I was dating, um, I don't know that I had an understanding of what it is that I wanted. Just kind of like going with the flow. But this time around, I have no tolerance whatsoever for no games. I'm not on it.
And what age did you get married?
I was 27.
Okay.
So just a little older than you are now.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
So if I could add one other thing, when I listen to stories that you share with me, that my daughter shares with me, it doesn't seem much different from, you know what I'm saying, from the things that I encountered in my 20s, which aligns with what you said earlier, that doesn't really change no matter how old they get. I really think maturity and things like that really are case by case. I don't really think that it's age that governs it. You know what I'm saying? It's like who someone is as an individual and what values they hold for themselves.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to learn that too. Definitely starting to learn that.
All right, and so my opinion on dating now versus back in the day, I've also been married 20 years, and marriage is hard, but it is what you make it. Dating back when I was a kid or younger in my 20s, I had this expectation of Cinderella, which is not true. You're not going to get this dream come true when you marry this guy, and just know that whoever you pick, whatever traits they have are the traits they're going to have later. So don't think because we got married
it's
I'm going
to
to change
change
him and he's going to be this person, because that's not going to happen. He is who he is and you are who you are.
Right.
So live with that. I did also want to touch on dating now versus back then. Now everything is social media, and you get this facade of what these relationships are because of the pictures that they post, and you don't know the behind the scenes of what's going on. So this guy may have bought all these flowers and laid out this bedroom and all this champagne and wine, and she's in lingerie, but you don't know what he did before that to make him want to do that.
It could be his apology.
Right, it could be an apology. You're like, oh, which my dude would do that? Yeah, but did you want that black eye before?
Right.
That she got before she got those roses. So you can't base what you're going to get in your person based on what somebody else has. Secondly, a lot of girls are putting the horse before the cart. You want him to marry you, stop giving him wife privileges. You know what I'm saying? Save keep your gum wrapped up.
It's true. I mean, sometimes mine's not even just the goodies though. Like, you cooking meals 3 times a day. He basically living with you.
He shouldn't be living with you. He need to go pay his own rent.
Oh, listen, you don't gotta tell me.
I'm just saying, stop giving a dude husband privileges, expecting him to put a ring on your finger. Why do he need to buy the goods if he's getting them for free?
Right.
That's my opinion.
I agree. I definitely agree. Let me see who's in here. Oh, we only got one lady in here. Stephanie. Hey, girl. Okay, so I will definitely agree with the whole social media thing. I think that social media has given us like this depiction that, how when you grow up you watch movies and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, like, oh, but that was acting. And so now with social media, we see people doing, I mean, they're still acting, but we see it more often. So it's like, well, why can't I get that? And then we think that relationships are supposed to be like this whole, perfect beautiful. I mean, it's supposed to be beautiful, but like it's supposed to be perfect, and you're supposed to get flowers every day, and your dude laying a red carpet out when you walk home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, relationships are not like that.
If you want the red carpet, you need to roll it out for him too, because it's a two-way street.
Oh yeah.
You treat him like a queen, he should treat you
like a
king.
I don't want to treat no man like a queen.
You treat him like a king. He's supposed to treat you like a queen, and it can't be one-way street. You can't be treating him like a king, and he just laid up accepting all of this, because eventually you're gonna be on empty. You need somebody to refill your stuff, because that's whack.
Absolutely.
No.
I think so many people have been in those relationships where they like, you know, they're pouring into someone else's cup. And I love that phrase though, like pouring into somebody's cup. It's such a good depiction of how it really is though. You're pouring into their cup, and then your cup is empty, and they still want you to give them some more. And it's like, I have nothing to give you.
Right.
Like, when are you going to pour back into mine?
That's actually, if I'm being all the way candid, just open right now, that's kind of where I ended up, where, you know, you give and you give and you give, damn near 20 years worth of giving. And not to say that it was all bad and I never received, but I mean, it was far more me wondering and waiting when.
Right.
Like, when.
Right.
And then I just got tired of asking the question.
Right. I think that is just the fact that you're even able to realize that, you know, you can use the things that you learned from that, even though it was 20 years, you know, you can use the things that you learned from that in your next.
Well, that makes me kind of not, I don't want to speak out of turn here with like your agenda items, but it kind of makes me think about, number one, I want to touch on what you guys are saying about social media. Oh my gosh, like you said, it's freaking snippets, it's photos. I don't know that I'd go as far as to say that it's a facade, but I think it's a moment. And if I could equate it to like a lot of videos that I have on my Instagram are working out, right? So most of the time, I won't speak about everybody else, but most of the time I'm going to post those ones where I'm getting it in and I'm getting it right. But I don't always post the ones where I'm like, I'm tired and
struggling, right?
But however, I have started to do that. And I actually found that people actually engage more with my fails than they do with me.
Yes.
Oh, I'm getting it in, right?
Absolutely. Because people don't want to, especially, I learned that with doing Love Sis, like, people want to know that you're like them. You know,
like I'm regular. You think somebody got a bicep? Well, yeah, it took me like 3 years to get that bicep, and all the fails along the way. So, I mean, again, if I just equated it to that, it's just a moment.
Right.
It's a moment. I may have worked out for an hour and a half, and you're going to catch a 30-second, you know what I'm saying, snippet of what that looked like. Not all of the before or necessarily the after either.
Right.
So that's what I think about social media. I also think social media can be a detriment. Because there's so much access.
Yeah.
There's like unlimited access to somebody's husband or wife or, you know, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. It's like the whole DM thing.
Right.
Slide
a lot more temptation.
in my DMs. And,
get out of there.
and I actually think it's kind of hilarious, some of the stuff that comes in and the things that people say and send. And I'll click on play, be like, oh, shoot.
I really want to see that.
They be deep diving in your DMs.
Right. With no scuba gear on.
Deep diving with no
ain't got
scuba
nothing
gear.
on.
Woo.
Yeah.
Please.
So that was one thing, but I kind of lost where I was going because I had another thing. It was kind of out of order of the topics that you wanted to just kind of recap on from your last podcast.
It's okay.
You said the social media thing, how it was compared, our dating compared to before. What was the other item?
Requirements that you expect to see from someone when they're interested.
Yeah.
Like, how would you expect a guy? How would you expect a guy to show you that he's interested in you? Because a lot of guys, you know, they'll get your phone number and they're like, hey, you know, what you doing? And then they'll what you doing to death.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm so tired of getting what you doing texts. I just don't even respond anymore. So it's
I
like,
have a problem with text altogether, George.
I understand that.
Like, text is not real life. Can I cuss on here? Get your ass on the phone.
Right.
And call
Let me
me
hear
on the
your
phone.
voice.
What are you talking about? You know, because number one, text messages can be totally misconstrued. The attitude or meaning, intent, sometimes even behind it. Number two, I'm 46 years old. I text, yeah, but that ain't how I live my life. Like,
I'm 26 years old, and I'm like, okay, it's enough texting. What
right. Call me and say what you mean to say.
Right.
Thank you.
Get on the phone and say what you got to say, like all of that. I saw something recently that said that a lot of cheating and affairs and sliding into DMs and all that kind of stuff happen late at night when people feel lonely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, I'm finding that I agree with that, because it's like in the midnight hour.
You be like,
yeah,
I need somebody to talk to.
I need somebody to lay with. I ain't cuddled in a long time, but at the same time, I'm like, because you're about to come up in my house and lay up in my bed and eat up my food and do whatever. And
oh, you be giving what? You didn't get no food.
I mean, and for what, me, the other thing is, like, I'm to a point. I just like, I really need to have what I mean relationship. I'm not talking about I guess like the understanding of like sexual intimacy. I need some friendship.
Yeah.
I need some. I can be totally myself, gut out. You know what I'm saying? Just with no judgment, and somebody who's going to be as willing to share with me the way that I want to be able to share and expose myself with somebody. Because even having been in a marriage as long as I was, I can't even say that we had, and that's probably what one of our biggest problems is that we didn't have that friendship. I couldn't say, oh, he's my best friend. Like, but you should be able to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
after 20 years, you should be able to say that's my best friend.
And loving him and all that has nothing to do with this. It's just, I realize that if I'm going to explore any relationships ever going forward, that's where I need to start. Yeah. I don't really care if you think I'm pretty. Thank you. You know.
I know. I'll be like, I know.
Oh, okay. You cold as fuck. Thank you. You know, or dudes, most of the dudes that talk to me they're like between 29 and 36, I think the oldest one. I'm like, boy, where's the 52-year-old niggas? Where they at?
I want all the 52-year-old niggas on the live.
Right. I think they might think you're too young and you might not be interested, but she wants a mature man.
I want a mature man.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Like, because for a minute I kept saying, okay, I'm not dating nobody in their 20s anymore. You know what I mean? I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. There is just too much immaturity for me. And I think I might have changed my mind recently. So I think it's the maturity level. I think that a lot of all of the relationship issues have to do with maturity.
Right. And I think I said that earlier on, right? It's kind of like age isn't necessarily what governs that. It's the person, you know, because I have talked to some men, even just that are friends, truly just friends, that have a high level of maturity, have a high level of goal determination. You know what I'm saying? And it's, again, it's not necessarily based on age. But for me, when you ask the question about what I want, it has to really start with being able to be totally naked. Like that song when she said, "Can you love me naked?"
Can you love me naked?
Just naked, and you love me from, like I said, from the gut out. And if you can't, then I don't want to be bothered. I just don't.
Waste your time.
That's why I don't want to expend dead energy. Like if I pour my energy and time into something, not only do I want that same time and energy back, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I'm just not willing to do it if I feel like there's no point, no long-term point.
Oh yeah. See, when I said it, I said I want to see intent, which is kind of the same thing. Like, I want you to have a purpose for coming and talking to me in the first place. Like, are you interested in me, or are you interested in being my friend? You know what I mean? Like, I want to know that. It doesn't have to be in the first week. It doesn't have to be in the first month. But when we get to a point where it's like, okay, well, what are we doing? Are we being friends, or are we trying to work towards something, or are we doing both? You know what I mean? So
I think what's missing is courting. A lot of people laugh at courting. They ready to get into this relationship. 2 weeks in, you put in titles. How about you?
2 weeks.
Huh?
That's too long. My 2 weeks too long.
2 weeks is too long.
10 days. Just shy of 2 weeks.
Or going home the same night and giving up the goodies and then thinking that he's going to call you in the morning and he don't, and now your feelings are hurt, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
He want her to call him and she don't call him no more. And that don't mean that maybe the sex was bad. It just means that they didn't want a relationship.
Right.
What's
So,
the intent?
Mm-hmm.
I think that people, girls, guys too, we need to set a standard for
Dating.
For dating. I tell this to Jordan all the time. Don't waste your time on dudes that ain't about nothing. And the guys that are interested aren't looking at her sexually. They're looking at her mental. They're looking at her beauty on the inside, not just her face. Because what happens if all that is gone? And I got to put this out there. I was in a car accident and my face was ripped off, and all of my what's the word I'm looking for? Confidence went out the door. I felt like I wasn't pretty and I wasn't good enough, and I thought because I was cute before, I could do any and everything I wanted to do. But what happens when your beauty is gone and you're old? Will you still want to be with that person? Will they still want you? If they love you on the inside, they will. And so those are things we all need to look at in picking the person that we want to spend time with.
Mm-hmm.
What you just said, though, what she just said is like, that's the kind of love that I want. You know what I'm saying? That it's not superficial. It's not based on what you or I look
unconditional.
like. It's something that's far deeper than that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. When I think about, you asked what one of the other questions she was saying is, what are you fearful of?
Oh yeah.
You know what my biggest fear is? I'm gonna keep it all real. STDs.
Right.
I'm like,
you only got one for JJ. We want to keep it nice and fresh.
You don't want to wake up one morning and fall out.
Like, is that mine on the bed right
Oh
there?
my goodness.
Like, I really struggle, because to me, sexual intimacy is not something that I'm willing. Now, don't get me wrong. I like sex. Love it. Know how to put it down. All of that. Right. But I'm just not so willing to give myself to somebody like that. Right. And then because there's a lot of, can I say this? Can I say whatever I want?
Yes, say what you want. Say what you need to say.
Love the dirty dick niggas. We got a video on YouTube about dirty dick. Just nasty.
Dirty dick Dan.
And girls too. I don't mean to put this all on men, but it's
where we get it from?
It's girls is trifling too, though. Let's just keep it real. What I'm really fearful about is sharing myself intimately with someone who doesn't share the same level, you know, just the one-to-one. Even if, let's say we're not even in a relationship. Let's say we're getting to know each other and we decide to be sexually intimate. Right? Even if we haven't gone as far as titles and none of that kind of stuff, what I don't want to do is share myself with somebody who's sharing themselves with somebody.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's one thing. It's like, if we're going to do that, then I'm going to need to know that this is
the only one you're doing this with.
Even if you're not my man.
And give her, the girl or the guy, the courtesy to let them know that you got multiple partners, so they can make the conscious choice of, I don't want your stuff. I don't want to do. Yeah,
dirty dick.
Like, don't be lying like I'm the only one and you got
dirty dick Dan's this way. Okay.
No.
Period.
And that, you know, that's, so when you ask that question, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm fearful of. Everything else, I feel like I can figure out how to navigate and through it, especially because I've decided I have no tolerance for bullshit.
As you should.
Yeah. But that's one thing that's a no-no for me.
Right. To the clinic first, boo-boo. To the clinic first.
I'm done. I cannot deal with y'all.
That's so real
it's
to me.
Real.
It's like,
but you know, when we were younger and dating, AIDS was really popular when we was younger. Like, you like, oh my gosh, he look like he got AIDS. You know, you don't want to use a condom because it don't feel so good, or you might be allergic to latex or whatever you call yourself.
Do it, girl.
Huh?
Do it, girl.
But like, he look clean, but it's just nasty. Just times is different now. I mean, I guess it was.
You know what though? I think, especially now, like, I can only speak on my generation, but I think a lot of women are just like craving intimacy, and they're like, well, in any possible way I can get that intimacy, I'm gonna.
That's what we got to teach.
I want to get it.
Though there are so many layers of intimacy.
Right.
Intimacy is not limited to sex.
It's not. But I think that, you know, like, sex is like a quick intimacy. Like you get there, you get to
quick
feel
fix.
that intimacy quick. It's a
temporary.
quick fix to what you're looking for. And
It's temporary.
It's it's very temporary. It's very temporary. So I'm hoping that we can learn how to.
You need a man to make love to your mental. That's gonna last forever. That's a longevity. I don't know.
That's a whole different.
Unless he an asshole. He might be getting into your mental and not mean what he mean to say.
Oh yeah.
He didn't say what he meant to say.
All right, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
And choosy and picky in the guy that you choose to let into your mental.
Right, because Stephanie. No quick fixes this way, babe.
Mm-hmm. We got pure romance for that.
Oh yeah, we got pure romance for those quick fixes. If you need a quick fix, don't
get it. Oh, soft plug.
I got the thing for you. 2 minutes, you done. Put it in the drawer, you done. You got to worry about no extra.
But that don't rub your booty.
What?
That don't rub your booty.
Oh, I thought you said no. Never mind what I thought you said.
It doesn't, however. Right? However.
You can rub your own booty and go to sleep.
It's not the same.
No, I'm just playing.
we recognize it's not the same, right? It's not the same.
It's temporary until you get your long term. It's temporary. That's you got to think about temporary.
Okay.
Temporary with drama or temporary with a charger. And you just put it in the drawer and be done.
This is taking a turn, guys. Taking a turn.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Well, there goes the personality that you referenced.
That's why I asked y'all to get up here. Okay, so what do you guys feel like? Well, I guess you kind of already answered that question. I was going to say, what do you feel like is a way that women now can better our dating lives? But I guess you already said that, not allowing yourself to, have quick fixes and knowing exactly what it is that you want and not settling for the things that you don't want. And no quick fixes.
Don't overlook those red flags because he show you right up front. She show you right up front what they about. And don't fall for it because they got a cute face.
All right, I got a serious question.